how to solve systems of equations. You'll notice that we have 3 variables to solve. So our goal for this problem is to find A, B, and V. So when I look at these 3 equations, the easiest one to solve is this last one right here. I notice that A is pretty easy to find because since it's 5 times A, if I divide by 5, A is 6. So we just start wherever we think we can start finding solutions. Well, if I know that A is now 6, that can help me in this equation. Because if I know that A is 6, that's going to help me figure out what B is. So I'm going to take this 6 and I'm going to plug it in for this A. So 4 times 6 plus B equals 25. So now I'm going to solve for B. 4 times 6 is 24. I'm going to subtract 24 from both sides. And B is 1. All right, so now I have the A and the B. The last thing I need is the V. Well, the only equation that has a V in it is this one, so I'm going to have to use this equation. So I'm going to bring this equation down here, and I've got 4 times, I already know what A is, I already know what B is, 3V equals 31. So let's see if we can solve this one. So 4 times 6 is 24, plus 1 is 25 equals 3V, 25 plus 3V equals 31. All right, now to solve this, I would subtract 25 on both sides. So I'm left with 3V equals 6. Last step to get V by itself is divide by 3. I'm out of room here, sorry, but we can see that V is 2. So we've accomplished our goal. We know what A is, we know what B is, and we know what V is. Now, make sure that you always check your solution by plugging those answers back in just to make sure they work in all 3 equations. So for example, if I plug it in here, which we've already done here, but I could plug the 2 back in. So we've got 25 plus 6 is 31. It for sure works in the first one. In this one, I got 4 times 6 is 24, plus the B, which is 1, that equals 25. That one checks out. And I've got 5 times 6 equals 30. So these 3 solutions work for all 3 equations. So we have found the solution for this system of equations. All right, this problem is a little bit more challenging for our pre-AP students. So if you're a pre-AP student, this one's for you. For this one, we don't have a simple variable already isolated. We have to really work a little bit harder to solve this one. Our goal again is to solve for X, Y, and Z. One strategy to look for is if I can add my rows together and something cancels, like elimination method, I would try that. But when I add my rows together, I don't see things that are easily going to cancel. So I'm going to stick with the substitution method. What I want to do is get one of my variables isolated, one alone. The closest to getting alone is this Y right here. So I'm going to try to get this Y alone. If I get this Y alone, then I could plug it in my other equations and solve for my other variables. So that's what the strategy I'm going to go for. You might find another strategy. There's definitely more than one way to solve this problem. All right, so if I'm going to get this Y by itself, I'm going to need to minus the 2x over here, and I'm going to have to add the 3z. So I'm left with negative y equals minus 2x plus 3z, and I've got this positive 1. So I minus the 2x, I added the 3z to get it to the other side, and I have a plus 1. Now in order to substitute it, I have to get rid of this negative. So I'm going to multiply this entire row by negative 1 so that I can have a positive y. So this is going to be left with y equals, if I multiply that times negative 1, it's now going to be a positive 2x, a negative 3z, and a negative 1. So now I have something that I can substitute in for my y values. So I am going to plug this, first of all, into this equation right here. So I'm left with 4x plus 3. Now I'm plugging this in for y. 2x minus 3z minus 1. I'm continuing with my equation. Plus 2z equals negative 4. All right, let's simplify this down and see what we're left with. So obviously I need to distribute here to simplify this down. So 3 times 2x is 6x. 3 times negative 3z is negative 9z. 3 times negative 1 is negative 3. Plus 2z equals negative 4. All right, what do I do now? Well, I see some like terms I can combine. I have a 4x and a 6x. These can combine to be 10x. I got z's here. I can combine my negative 9z and my positive 2z is negative 7z minus 3 equals negative 4. I could also add 3 over here to get my numbers together. So 10x minus 7z is negative 1. So I didn't quite solve for a variable yet. What I'm going to do is I'm going to plug this one now into this equation because I have got it down to 2 variables. Maybe the two of them together can cancel out. So I'm now going to take what I solved for y and I'm going to plug it in my other equation now. All right, negative 3x plus 2. Now I'm plugging in for y. Plus 5z equals negative 3. All right, we're going to distribute first. So we got negative 3x plus 4x minus 6z minus 2 plus 5z equals negative 3. Again, I'm going to combine my like terms. I have x. My z's combined to be negative z. I'm going to plus the 2 over here to get negative 1. All right, so I'm left with this and this. So if I bring this down below, we're getting somewhere. So now we can solve by elimination because if this was negative 10x or if this was positive 7z, when I add these rows together, one of my variables is going to eliminate and we will have one of our answers. So I'm going to multiply this row times negative 10. So there's negative 10, which will make this positive 10, and this will be positive 10. So I'm going to add my rows together. These cancel, and I'm left with 3z equals 9. Ta-da! I found z is 3. But wait, there's more. We have not found x and y yet. But don't worry, it's much easier to find the other two. All right, so in this mess, now that I know what z is 3, I got to find the last part. Well, if we go back to this equation right here, it's pretty easy. If I plug in 3 here for z, now that I know what z is, I can easily find x. So add 3, x is 2. All right, so I've got x and I've got z. I only have one letter left to solve, and so we could pretty much pick any equation we wanted to. This one's already solved for y, so this one probably would be our easiest ones to do. So I'm going to take this one. Y equals 2 times x, which is 2, minus 3 times the z we found, which is 3, minus 1. So I've got 4 minus 9, which is negative 5 minus 1. Y is negative 6. And to check my solution, I could plug all 3 of these back into all 3 equations just to make it work out. Now this is a higher level problem, obviously, to work out by hand. And in the next video, I'm going to show you how to solve this using the calculator. But if you have to do it by hand, this is one strategy for attacking it.